Hello everyone, today we are going to discuss renal tubular acidosis in a very quick way. So we are going to discuss various types of renal tubular acidosis, its pathophysiology and basic differences between these type 4 RTAs and what are the different ways of to treat them. So first, a little about the pathophysiology of renal tubular acidosis. So basically, there are four types of renal tubular acidosis. So renal tubular acidosis is an example of normal anion gap metabolic acidosis. So there are mainly four types. In type 1 is distal RTA, type 2 is proximal RTA, type 4 is hyporenemic hypoaldosteronism, it is type 4 RTA. Type 3 RTA, basically it's a distal tubule sodium transport defect. It's an autosomal condition and it's not a true renal tubular acidosis, it's a mixed kind of thing. So in type 2 proximal RTA, there is defect in proximal tubular cells. There is proximal convoluted tubular dysfunction in type 2 RTA, resulting into decreased reabsorption of sodium and bicarbonate ions. Usually this reabsorption, this bicarbonate dysfunction is not an isolated entity. It's usually not an isolated entity. It is seen in relation to Fanconi syndrome. So Fanconi syndrome, there is defect in proximal convoluted tubular cells. There is defect in tubular reabsorption. So there will be glycosuria, phosphaturia, and amino aciduria in case of Fanconi syndrome, along with bicarbonate urea. So in proximal RTA, there is defect in bicarbonate reabsorption in proximal convoluted tubules. Moving to distal RTA, in distal RTA, there is defect in hydrogen ion secretion in collecting duct as well as distal tubules, resulting into decreased hydrogen ion secretion and impaired reabsorption of potassium ions. So one important thing is type 1 and type 2 RTAs are usually results into hypokalemia because of impaired hydrogen ion secretion in these two RTAs. So in type 1 and type 2 RTA there is hypokalemia. In type 3 and type 4 RTA there is hyperkalemia. In type 4 RTA usually it is associated with hypoaldosteronism, which is seen in diabetic patient, long-standing diabetic patients, and CKD patient. There is hypoaldosteronism resulting into hyperkalemia and impaired hydrogen ion secretions in these patients. So there will be hyporenemic hypoaldosteronism in type 4 RTA, very commonly seen in diabetic patient. Very commonly in diabetic patient we encountered hyponatremia along with hyperkalemia. So there is hypoaldosteronism which results into decreased reabsorption of sodium ions and impaired hydrogen ion secretion and impaired potassium secretion, so resulting into hyperkalemia. So in type 1 and type 2 RTA there is hypokalemia, and type 4 RTA there is hyperkalemia. Renal tubular acidosis is an example of normal anion gap metabolic acidosis. So quickly moving to important difference between these four RTAs. So first let's talk about type 1 RTA. In type 1 RTA, as we have already discussed, the primary defect is impaired distal tubule and collecting duct acidification. There is defect in hydrogen ion secretion in type 1 RTA. The plasma bicarbonate ions are variable in type 1. They may be below 10. In order to neutralize the excess acid or excess hydrogen ions, the plasma bicarbonate ions are usually below 10. Urinary pH is always more than 5.3 in case of type 1 RTA, which is very helpful in differentiating it from type 2 RTA. So plasma potassium is reduced. There is hypokalemia, as we have already discussed, in type 1 and type 2 RTA. But there is difference in the treatment of both of hypokalemia in type 1 and type 2 RTA. The type 1 RTA usually responds to alkali therapy. But in type 2 RTA, the alkali therapy will worsen the hypokalemia. So correct identification of different type of RTAs is very important. So plasma potassium is low, as we have already discussed, but it usually corrects with alkali therapy. So beside giving potassium supplements, we also have to add alkali therapy in type 1 RTA patients. So in type 1 RTA, There is also defect in urinary ammonium excretion. So urinary ammonium excretion is depressed. Urinary anion gap will be more than 20 and urinary osmolar gap is less than 150 milliosmol per kg. So in type 1 RTA, apart from defect in collecting duct acidification, there is hypercalciuria is also present, which results into increased risk of nephrocalcinosis or nephrolithiasis. So in type 1 RTA, there is impaired distal tubule or collecting duct acidification. There is hypokalemia which responds to alkali therapy. So moving to type 2 RTA, in type 2 RTA there is reduced proximal bicarbonate reabsorption. There is proximal tubular dysfunction which results into increased bicarbonate secretion, or there will be defect in bicarbonate reabsorption. So plasma bicarbonate levels usually 12 to 20 milliequivalent per liter, but if we have given alkali therapy from outside, so there will be more bicarbonate ureas resulting into decrease in plasma bicarbonate ion. So like we have already discussed, identification of type of RTA is very important. In case of type 2, if we have given alkaline therapy, so we will worsen the metabolic acidosis and we will aggravate the hypokalemia that is associated with it. So normally urinary pH is less than 5.3, which was more than 5.3 in type 1 RTA. So in type 2 there is less than 5.3, but if we have given the alkaline therapy, it will be more than 5.3 because there will be more bicarbonate urea and worsening of hypokalemia. So it is induced by alkaline therapy. Urinary anion gap will be variable in case of type 2 RTA, and urinary calcium to creatinine ratio is normal, which is increased in case of type 1 RTA, because in type 1 RTA there will be hypocitraturia and hypercalciuria. So urinary calcium to creatinine ratio is normal in case of type 2 RTA. So now moving to hyperkalemic RTAs. So type 1 and type 2 hypokalemic RTAs. Type 3 and type 4 are hyperkalemic RTAs. So in type 4, main defect is hypoaldosteronism. So usually there is hyporanemic hypoaldosteronism. So there will be either decreased aldosterone secretion or there will be aldosterone resistance. So plasma bicarbonate ions are more than 17 milliequivalent per liter in case of type 4 RTA. Urinary pH is usually variable, but it is always more than 5.3. Plasma potassium, like we have already discussed, is increased. There will be hyperkalemia in case of type 4 RTA. Urinary anion gap will be more than 20, and there will be urinary calcium to creatinine ratio is normal, as there is no increase in calcium secretion in type 4 RTA. Type 3 RTA is mainly distal tubular sodium transport defect. It is similar to type 4 RTA, except the fact that it is unrelated to aldosterone levels. There will be defect in distal tubule sodium transportation. So in type 3 RTA, aldosterone levels are normal. It is not related to aldosterone. Other type 3 has similar features as of type 4. So bicarbonate anions will be more than 17 milliequivalent per liter. Urinary pH is variable. Usually it is more than 5.3. Plasma potassium is increased. There is hyperkalemia in type 3 RTA also. So that's why type 3 and type 4 are hyperkalemic RTAs. Urinary anion gap will be more than 20, and urinary calcium to creatinine ratio is normal, as there is no defect in calcium secretion. So this is all about all the 4 different type of renal tubular RTAs. So if you like my videos, please like, share and subscribe my YouTube channel.